What is up, people? Yes, I have a voice this evening. Imagine that. Alrighty then. Shall we? That, by the way, was my beautiful Empire Strikes Back. After I watered her just a little bit too much. See, if you look at the picture there, you can see how the leaves are curling in just slightly. When they do that, that means you've watered her too much. Back off on the water. Which I kind of knew that I did. I was trying to, one, up the acidity when I didn't have any acidifier using blood meal and piss water. It worked. Cranked it up where it needed to be anyway. Pushed it down underneath 7, which is pertinent using bone meal, because if your pH is above 7, which cannabis operates just fine above a pH of 7, however, you're not going to release the nutrients if it's above a pH of 7, so more basic than 7. I had no idea about the cannabis loving acidic thing prior to when I started this growing. Give me just a second. I need to grab a charger. I know I'm going to need it. Oh, take that damn beanie off. It's too hot outside to be wearing a beanie right now. So used to it being chilly, the warm came out of nowhere. And I'm growing my hair back out. How intelligent of me. So I took some video work earlier of this green currant. Although when I went to, I'm getting mad with Facebook Reels, guys, and I'm not even playing around no more. Now it's to the point where, like used to, they just block it, right, and mess with it, and you had to try to tiptoe around the algorithm and do this, that, and the other. They're actually screwing with like the zoom capability. Like when I zoomed in on my guitar reels, like tried to zoom, I zoomed in. I know how to fucking edit. I make YouTube videos. Like I know how to edit shit. And like the zoom is completely fucked. It's moved like all the way. It's fucked. It's completely screwed. There's no reason for it. And yes, see, when I uploaded the video, it was like sideways, and I turned it side. And I was thinking maybe it's because I turned it sideways and zoomed in and think it zoomed. No, it wasn't any of that. It's just randomly zoomed to some random fucking spot that's not what I set it up as. Like when I played the reel through, it was zoom in on my picking hand, zoom up on my fretboard hand, and then zoom back out. What ended up on Facebook is some bullshit that zooms into the wall and then zooms into some part of the guitar where you can't see. Shit that obviously nobody's going to watch because that wasn't like the whole, you know what I mean? The whole point is the music and going along with the action. And when you fuck up something like where the zoom goes to, it completely fucks up the whole reel. It can fuck up the whole reel, and it did in this instance, because the zooms into my fingers and my fretboard hand were part of the fucking catch to keep people watching the fucking reel. And when they fuck with things like that, and yes, I'm saying Facebook's doing it, just like I believe, I know Facebook messes with people's lives. Once again, point in case, go to my Facebook page right now. The live will be playing just fine. It won't be buffering. It won't say trying to reconnect. You won't see me frozen. You'll see me speaking here like this because I'm broadcasting from Rumble, and Facebook can't piss with Rumble's algorithm. They can hide me and keep me just restricted to my page where people can't. But if you go to my page, it's playing. Whereas if I try to go live on my page, from my page, it won't work. It'll just buffer and buffer and buffer. So yeah, the Facebook thing is just pretty crazy. And it was with my freaking guitar stuff earlier. That's what irritated me. I was like, I tried to I was playing guitar, I borrowed my neighbor's 6-string because mine has a broken string at the moment. And yeah, recorded some music. At least it's the very bottom high pitch string, the E string, the high E string. I don't really use it that much. Except every time I like am missing that string, I have a hankling to play like every song that uses that string. Like fucking Shook Me All Night Long or Back in Black or I don't know. Something like that. Something that I usually don't play, but for some reason when I break that string, I'm like, I can't think of anything else to play. Oh boy, oh boy. All right. So this is some PacMan. The green currant, I can't really put my finger on it. I'm going to compare and contrast the profiles. Compare and contrast. I hope everybody's having a lovely little build up to 420. Don't know what I'll be doing. Maybe just sitting here getting all kinds of stoned and shit. It's quite possible. All right. Start out with some PacMan, shall we? Sorry, I know you can't really see what's going on here. You see my ugly face, that's about it. Then when I put it down like that, you can't even see my ugly face. You're just looking at my fat belly. My belly that I need to get rid of because I told myself I would never have a belly. And now I have a belly. Belly, belly, belly. Very jelly belly. Anyway, smoke some cannabis with me. It'll make you feel better about having a jelly belly. Cheers, lovies. Now open that up, it'll add some more light. Yeah, that goes to work too. That's it, though. Oh, yeah, it's a little better. I really need to fix my ring light. Or just get a new ring light, I mean. There is no fixing the light part of it. Unless you live in like India or some shit and they know how to fix anything with a fucking rubber band and a bottle of water. Ah, very earthy. On the exhale, especially. It's got that like earthy, dirty indica. The same thing that beer makes you do whenever you take a drink and swallow. That shiver. Yes, indica humulene relative to that experience. And it is relative to sedation as well, humulene, very much so. But I like to think of humulene comparing it to beer because hops, Latin for hops is humulus lupulus, a shout out, whatever you want to call it, a reference to humulene, the compound, Latin for the compound. You get what I'm trying to say. Humulus lupulus, hops, humulene, cannabis, beer, same. humulene, indica. Let me look. Let's see here. That was the PacMan. And I don't know if this is, I'm not sure when this strain came out. Haven't looked that part up yet. Just started looking into that. Purple Punch, 2013. I know that one. All right, we have PacMan. It says indica cookies claims. Cannabinoids, 23.15% flower. THCA, 21.07. THC, 1.31%. So indica levels, no crazy high THC level and like a diminished THC. And those can get tricky because when you see a lower THCA, say like 69% in a live resin, you're thinking, okay, that's lower, more less THC, indica. But then oftentimes what you'll see is a very heightened THC, delta 9 THC level there, which is expressive characteristic of sativa. So you have to go through the profile cannabinoid one by one and pick it apart. The whole thing. Anyway, the typical CBGA, however, is lowered, and CBG is about where you'd expect. But the I haven't pinpointed what exactly the pattern behind the significance behind the lowering of CBGA in a profile. There's not enough. I don't have enough data yet to fucking figure something out there. Like for example, with the heightened CBGA alongside lowered CBG is indicative of sativa expression by diminishing CBGA, increasing CBG. And that makes sense when you think about the fact that sativa, the fact that CBG increases, CBG decreases. When you think about the fact that sativa is the expressive on indica, expressing through all these genetics, all these hybrids. For example, like Durban poison pushing THCV through the profiles very prominently. And the fact that the base compounds of all of the cannabinoids and terpenes, there's actually a word that relates to, it starts with terpa something that is an overall overarching term that relates to cannabinoids and terpenes. The base compounds of cannabinoids and terpenes, the acetyl, geranol diphosphate, and the other thing, the geranol diphosphate, the precursor to CBG, geranol, sativa, first, beginning. You get what I'm trying to say here? Learning to express it on, heightening up. Yes. All right. So if that made any sense to anybody out there, hopefully it does to somebody with a brain like mine. So beta caryophyllene, indica, 0.84%. Now, not absolutely indica, but we already know it's indica. But traditionally, when you see beta caryophyllene, you're going to lean into the indica side of things, even if it is sativa, because you're still going to have, more than likely, a relaxing note to the experience due to the beta caryophyllene. It tends to always carry its sedating effect with it, unlike trans caryophyllene. Limonene, 0.58%, our bridge terpene, right? Just multiple bridge terpenes. Pinene, another bridge terpene. Alpha, sativa, beta, indica. Limonene, dual enantiomers. You have the orangey and the lemony. 0.58% limonene. Linalool, 0.30, what you would expect to see, and right underneath that, exactly what you would expect to see, characteristic of indica, is humulene. grouped together, 0.58, 0.30, 0.21. That is exactly what you would want to see with indica characteristic, heavy indica characteristic. Excuse me. Now let's see about the pinene lean ratio. Okay, so this pinene lean ratio is saying that it is sativa. We already know this isn't a sativa. So what does that mean? Likely what that means, now before I say this, alpha pinene 0.19, beta pinene 0.11, that comes to 0.2930, yeah, 0.30, 0.19 of 0.30, it'd bring it to like a 60-40, 65 in sativa, but it's not. So it's stating that it is the opposite, but not the opposite in totality. I want to keep note of that. So it's stating opposite, but not opposite as in extreme opposite, where it's saying that it's 100% sativa. That happens, and it is also relative to complexity of genetics in the profile. Now, I haven't looked up the parent strains of PacMan yet, but given that appearance in the profile, I would venture to say that one, either the more likely scenario being that it is opposition but not in totality, is that the complexity of genetics exists with similar to the strain that I talked about, I think it was Purple Punch, that had multiple Landrace crosses, looked very hybridized, but all very pure genetics. Afghani, Colombian, Northern Lights, like that would be like the most hybridized strain in, for example, one of those. Yeah. So complexity of genetics, but not complexity of genetics, or excuse me, lack of complexity of genetics. See, it's a double negative whenever I speak about it, because the formula and everything around it, the Terpological protocol, is developed to suss out hybridization and the characteristics thereof, and all of it, experientially, in the flower, in the plant, across the board. So it being meant to sort out hybridization, that is complexity of genetics. So when you see that the formula meant for a hybridization profile doesn't work, for like a hybridization protocol on a profile that doesn't work, that's indicating that it is more pure. It's not hybrid. So it's lacking in genetic complexity. That can happen two ways. You either have straight back to Landrace, or a multitude of Landrace crosses that looks hybridized, but still very pure genetically. It's got a bunch of super pure genetics. It's different. Hybridized, but not hybridized. It's just different. Now, mind you, crossing different Landraces, not the same Landrace, like multiple ones. And Purple Punch is a good example of that. If you look at the seed finder, seedfinder.edu or seedfinder.org, just type in seed finder Purple Punch genetic map in Google, and that is what I use to visualize the strain genetics. Very, very helpful. Okay, so opposition, likely lack of complexity in genetics through a bunch of Landrace expression, like Kush or OGs and Afghani and Colombian and Asiatic sativas, Mexicans, Oaxacan Highlands, things like that. Okay, cis-neurolidal terpineol and for those saying, as compared to what? As compared to like hybridized strains, like Girl Scout cookies and fucking Sunset Server, or more hybrid strains. Green crack. Then green crack's not a good one. Green crack's pretty pure. Genetically, I recall. Anyways, God, I touched my eye after I fucked it. I do that every single time. Fuck my eye all up. I never fail to do that. God damn it. Terpineol, indica, 0.10. Don't confuse it with terpenoline in here at 0.02%, which you would expect. Very low percentage of terpenoline. However, its presence in the profile at all is indicative that you've got sativa sprinkling itself in there. Finchone, also indica. Finchol. Finchone. I don't remember Finchone. Or camping, actually. And I need to study more about cis-neurolidol, specifically what the fuck ever cis means. Like, I know it means what it means to fucking social justice warriors, but I mean what it means in reference on the profile, cis-neurolidol, in reference to that compound. Because it might just lead me down another rabbit hole, like the pinene lean formula. I don't give a fuck who thinks I can come up with that. I came up with that shit on my own. I knew there was something there. I was intuiting it as after when you have, like, I have a very good memory, not working memory when I'm smoking weed, but I have a very, very good long-term memory, and I have like a picture type memory, sort of, not really, but sort of. And when I have all that data built up in my head, I can intuit patterns out of it. Like, I can feel things, see things, and like don't know what it is, can't exactly point it out, you know what I mean? And until I can. And then when I can, I got the pinene lean formula. That's the last one that I come up with. And like, for example, I was calling limonene the bridge terpene just from my reading of confirmation of analyses before I really researched limonene to find out that indeed it has dual enantiomers. That's the plus and minus thing you see on there all the time. And that the two types of limonene actually present differently, lemon versus orangey, which is also how I was describing the things. And I prefer to do it that way because then I know that I'm not being influenced by things that I'm seeing online or trying to make what I'm looking at in the profiles meet some shit I read online. And I have to be honest with myself, and doing it on here makes me be honest with myself, because if I say something and it's untrue, then I have to correct it. Otherwise, I look like a fucking dumbass, and nobody's going to actually take what I say seriously. So, yeah, that helps me stay honest on that end of it, so I don't try to, like, you know what I mean, make the profile work, because it's a work in progress. I'm not trying to make it work at any point. I don't know, maybe it won't work for another 20 fucking years completely. I don't know, but I know that it has validity, and a lot of validity, in my opinion, in helping at least me and people that I explain it to who are able to understand it better grasp these, to understand what the fuck you're buying at the dispensary. And it will also help you understand when they're fucking lying to you at the dispensary, when a company's fucking with you. You understand what's it, okay? For example, linalool, very, very unique presenting terpene. Purple Orbea is an example of linalool heavy cannabis strain. If they say there's a bunch of linalool in there and you go to smell it, you know, you can tell something like that. Weed with a lot of beta myrcene in it has very, very heavy eye effect. Like, I would imagine it's good for people with glaucoma with the heavy beta myrcene, because it like makes your eyes do like the watery thing and like super fucking stony, squinty-eyed. Yeah, beta machine. Anyway, let's smoke some more shit, shall we? I talk a lot. I don't smoke enough. Alright, let me smoke some of the green currant. The currant green. Now, it says hybrid. Right? It's from Kind Tree. It says hybrid. And definitely looks different. I mean, more triangulated. Hella triangulated. A little bit less dense. You can kind of see the microstructures separated a little bit more. It's still dense. I mean, it's got a nice. It's just a little less dense than PacMan. And super fucking. What is that? There's like a sweet, skunky. I don't know what to call that. I don't know what to put I can't put my hand on it. Finger. Take my good hand, child. Scary movie for the youngsters. I can smell the earthiness in it too. I can smell like it's got an undertone of earthiness, but the overarching smell is very, very skunky and terpenoline or something that I'm smelling. It's fucking sweetening it up a little bit. But not like you usually smell terpenoline. Let's see what the profile is. Terpeniol, limonene, I don't know. Beta-U-D-smol, maybe that's. Every time beta-U-D-smol is in a strain, it always has a funky smell. Precursor to menthol, just like as is isopropyl. I like saying that one. Yeah, that's why it's got that odd smell. I don't even see terpenoline on that. Nope. I think it was the same thing. I can like put my finger in this, like that sweet smell like that. Pretty crazy. Now I'm getting more of that earthy smell because the bag's been open for a second. But anyways, and yeah, I just wanted to do a quick compare and contrast. So indica versus hybrid. THCA 2107 on the indica, 2304 hybrid. About 3% higher total cannabinoids on the hybrid. And I'm doing this because I'm pretty sure this is indica hybrid, the green currant. I thought it was sativa when I first hit it, and it hit with the fucking intensity of psychoactivity that's like very hard, and the live resin, like super heavy in the eyes, and like, it knocked me the fuck back. But I think it's indica hybrid. And the pinene formula puts it right around the 50-50, like maybe at 55-45. So yeah, beta-caryophyllene and beta-caryophyllene, right about the same percentage, 0.84 in the indica, 0.74 in the hybrid indica. Limonene, 0.58 lower in the indica, higher in the hybrid, which is to be expected because limonene, though it is a bridge terpene, is more characteristic of sativa terpologically. It's more expressive, bright, vibrant, produces more of the funky aroma, and it is more of that earthy base undertone. Yeah, so limonene, lower in the indica, typical. Beta myrcene, is it even present in the, no, there is no beta-myrcene in this indica, and 0.36% in the grain current. Now, people always say beta-myrcene indica. I say beta-myrcene sativa, and maybe that will go back to indica at some point, but at the current, I still say it's sativa, and that relates to the illicit market and all that shit, but I'm not going to get into all that. But yeah, psychoactivity, especially with the hybrids on today's market. Linalool in the hybrid is at 0.36 and 0.30 in the indica hybrid, indica. Alpha humulene 0.21 grouped right there with the linalool 0.21, same exact percentages on humulene. Indica dominant hybrid is much stronger leaning in my opinion. And remember too, 80-20 up to the 100% Landrace strains, the pinene lean formula, lack of complexity in genetics, so it would be quite likely that this is like an 80-20, 85, 90-10, something like that. Whereas this is probably 55, maybe 60-40. But if you go through the profiles and compare and contrast them, they seem very similar. Like you see those few examples of difference, and you know what I'm saying? See why it's good to know these patterns and how they arise and suss them out. Beta pinene, terpineol and terpineol, 0.10 and 0.18 in the hybrid. 0.10 in indica, 0.18 in the hybrid. Beta pinene, 0.15 in the hybrid, 0.11 indica. And then alpha pinene in the hybrid, 0.14. The beta pinene higher, indica dominant hybrid. But of course, this one's ass backwards, whatever that. And let's see. Is there any caryophyllene oxide? No, none of that in there. And we got caryophyllene oxide in the hybrid, none in the indica. Beta D small, no finchol, or no finchone, but finchol, at about twice the percentage that's in the indica. And no CBG, just CBGA at an approximately similarly diminished level that you see in the PacMan. So why does all that shit matter? Why do I give a fuck about all that shit? Well, for example, one thing, like CBGA diminishing in both of these, but CBG not being present. What is that saying about why does that happen? Why did that specifically happen? Why did CBG lower, which like CBGA being higher is sativa characteristic expressing on the profile. So why is CBGA lowering? And just things like that. I didn't exactly word it as well as I wanted to word it, but it's all right. I don't give a shit. I don't have to speak like a goddamn professor all the time. Fucking shit. I try to get my words out. And again, apologies for the lack of content on locals for the past several days, week and a half. I honestly, that eclipse threw me way the fuck out of things, like out of line, out of sorts. Something happened. I don't know. Maybe I'm just blaming the eclipse and I'm just a crazy motherfucker. But I haven't had like a episode, I guess you want to call it, I don't know, manic fucking episode. I guess I was manic. I don't know. I just get angry and angry and angry and angry and angry, and it just keeps building and building and building to the point where eventually, because I'm 33 years old and I can't walk around punching stuff or I'll go to jail. So I end up like just screaming at the top of my fucking lungs. That's why I lost my voice. And I was sick a little bit too. Like that's how much negative energy I was like feeding into myself. Like I caused myself to get respiratory. In fact, like you know what I mean? All that shit that was going on yesterday and the night before. Just shitty. I don't know why. When I was younger, I was that way a good bit, honestly. Yeah, pretty toxic, to be quite fair and honest. I try to keep away, keep to myself. But like I said, I can't just go punching shit and breaking shit all the time. So I just like I scream a fucking cuss word out of nowhere. I'm like, "Ah!" Like fucking Tourette's or something, and let it all out. No, I don't do that all the time. That'd be funny if I did that all the time, though. Maybe I'll try that. Be great too. Walk around all the time, fucking screaming at people. Ah! This is a green current. It's smooth. I think I know why they call it green current. Current, smooth, stone nomenclature. Very useful to understand and know how to use. Don't listen to the industry. Industry doesn't know stone nomenclature. You might think they do. They have people that work in it that know stone nomenclature. Industry, the people at the top of industry wish they knew stone nomenclature. Ha ha ha. Just like they say, we wish we could run a business. Well, maybe that's true. Maybe I do wish my daddy left me $2 million or a million even, and maybe even 500,000. Shit, I'd be fine with my daddy giving me 1,000. Cheers, this smooth cannabis. It's industry grown. I'll smoke it. I think it's more focused. I think that's what I'm feeling. More of a focus than with the green current. It should be logical. It's got more sativa, if I am correct. Only if Terpological protocol is correct. There we go. Look those two strands up. And they are relatively what I said. You have to go to my local page and like one of my stories. Links. Posts. Articles. Choose one. There's lots. Let's have a dab. Plants are doing lovely, by the way, too. A little bit overwatered slightly. Yeah, as I showed earlier, right there. That is the lovely. Actually, that's about 4 or 5 days ago. So it's not quite as arched right now, but you can see the arch in those leaves. I'll show here before I get off. Before I get off. Anyway, they're not as clawed at the moment. So they're straightening back out. They were very pretty before I hit them with more newts because I had to. But the newt should be good now for a minute and back off in the water. She should straighten out nicely. And I want to put one of them outside. My neighbor is going to let me use a spot. He's got a big piece of property. And I'm going to put one outside. See how it does outdoors. One of those Afghanis that's been growing in this area outside for fucking 20, 30 some odd years. So, like 1985, I think. I'm going to put one of them outside. Yes, sir. And he's cool and shit. He's not like fucking somebody have to worry about like he's gonna take it from me or something or be an asshole. He's a cool guy. He's a cool guy. Oh, right. Steal some water from my Yoshi. No, it's good. A little bit too much water. A little bit too much, Yoshi. I'll put a little bit back in there. A little bit more. Water in the pot. Some bad water. Just kidding. Don't do that. Probably not a good idea. I don't know. Don't know what the pH of dab water is. I didn't realize how important pH was. Like people said pH and stuff whenever I was like starting to grow. But honestly, until I killed a couple plants and then took the pH and realized why I unalived them, I realized how important pH is. Cannabis likes acidity. And see, I always wondered, there was this one cannabis strain back in the day, back when I was a fucking kid. Back in the day, when I was like 16, 17, called Fire. It was just called Fire. It wasn't Fire OG, and it was specifically down from South Carolina, and it was a strain that some dudes grew underneath pine trees, and they called it Fire because the acidity of the pine trees like made the shit like one. It was super fucking red, like had all red hairs all over it, like, not burnt orange, like crazy sativa red hairs, like wild looking weed, and it was kind of fluffy, super fucking sticky. It caught fire and burnt, like I said. It had a hell of a burn to it, but it was really, really good weed. It was real weed, not like bright red. You know, I'm talking like cannabis red. So don't misread my statement. But yeah, Fire. I always wondered how it grew underneath the pine trees, but just cannabis likes acidity. All right. I'm gonna take a vent hit. See, you thought I put it together too fast again. I always do that, but I didn't this time. Actually, I did, but I just decided I'm not gonna take it back apart. will take it through the vent. Oh god, that sounded kind of weird. Sounded like I'm some kind of fucking Martian alien or something, and I'm having non-Martian heterosexual sex. Take it through the vent. I will take it through the vent. Don't ask me why my mind went there with it. I'm unsure exactly. Probably something to do with the fact that our fucking society's turned into Sodom and Gomorrah, and that might have something to do with that. Oh, Sodom and Gomorrah, oh fucking boy. That was fucking crazy. It's an earthquake in fucking New York, dude. 4.8 magnitude earthquake in New York. Chicka, 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 boom. Shook some shit. Like the camera of the New York City skyline was all like that. For real. Like the island. It's like the island just shook, man. Fucking Godzilla, goddamn motherfucking Cthulhu waking up under that motherfucker. God, Cthulhu just gonna stand up from underneath the fucking that lady in the middle of the water. Statue of Liberty. Yeah, he's just gonna stand up and just slap his fucking tentacles down. Fuck everybody! Cthulhu is actually Fenrir the wolf. They just got the myths mixed up. Alhazred, it really wasn't just a story. Some people might have got that. Some people definitely got that. And some people just think I just talked a whole bunch of crazy shit. Choppy, what you doing, Bob? Oh, we're good. This is Perfect Pair, Pair, from Rhythm. I always like their shit. It's always good. They always have a real nice consistency batter. It's like a real terpy sugar. Fine, fine, fine sugar. Wow. Alrighty then. That's strong. I forgot how strong that fucking Perfect Pair is. It sends you off. Nice fucking, like, I'm not sure how to put that metallic-y, earthy cough and taste. Yeah, I like it. Perfect Pair. Pair. Kind of a bold claim to make, but okay. I do agree, it's quite a desirable effect. Do not try to smoke through JB Weld. That is glass inside, sealed up with JB Weld. I'm going to fix it up better, but suit up the aluminum and JB Weld. The aluminum foil over the glass, it's cracked, and then the JB Weld over that for sturdiness. So you're not smoking or burning the JB Weld and inhaling any of those fumes. You're smoking within the glass that's coming through glass and then going through glass here and into the percolator. I have an adapter that goes into the percolator piece that extends, but the glass pieces that I have in here are like two intakes from terp slurpers essentially. One going this way, it's got the 10 millimeter intake going in here, and then it meets up with that one wrapped in aluminum foil that goes into where the banger's broken at, and then that's sealed up with aluminum foil and the JB Weld. I want to redo it a little bit better, but it was just a prototype fix for the time. It works, seals up perfectly, and made me not have to throw out my self spinner. Or my fucking Fabi. Fuckers get expensive depending on how hyped stoners are at the time, what state's legalizing at the time. And some are just expensive because artists like to charge a whole shit ton of money for their stuff sometimes. Like, I get it, kind of. But sometimes it's like, wow, that's a lot of money for a bone. And the thing is, like, some of the artist ones, I get it, but like, when you go to a head shop, be very careful. Because I'm telling you now, like, this bone, before it was all busted up and I had to remangle it into, I don't know, whatever it is now. I'm going to take the bone. These types of things, though, go in the head shops for like 60, 70, 80 bucks. And they get them from, you can get this on Wish as well. These types of bones on Wish. Quality might be questionable once in a while. I've never gotten any broke. People complain about stupid shit like that, but you get them on there for like 20, 25, 30 bucks. Like, I had a real nice, of course I busted it all up. A triangular setup. You look at some of my old content, you see it, a triangular setup, and it was like a splash cap, but it was sealed. And that's where the intake came off, or the mouthpiece came off of. So it swirled around inside of that and had a vortex coming inside of that. And the inside of the beaker-like part of it was a bubbler. And it was a really interesting setup. It was really cool. And I had like an intake and a backwash. It was a nice setup. But it was very, very top heavy. And my girlfriend had a big old heavy slurper. And she set it on there and it fucking boom. Fucking as soon as it did, it's really bad for bangers. Or, I mean, rigs. They fall over top heavy. And when they fall like this, the whole weight of the bong, banger, rig, the rig is on the banger. So it just fucking pushes everything up and just snaps it. I like the bubble ones that they make. Some people make like those big, thick bubble ones that when they fall over, they just like kind of roll, and that don't happen with those. I want to get a voodoo doll bomb. But motherfuckers are charging crazy for that. Because they know 90s kids love, like, fucking, I don't know, voodoo doll, goth. Yeah, not goth, but like, I mean, like a voodoo doll style, fucking drip, cartoony. I don't know how to explain it. Hey Arnold drip, like the cool Bugs Bunny drip, Daffy Duck. I like that shit. Laugh all you want. I don't care. Taz is cool as fuck. Wow, my eyes are bright. Anyway, check out these plants. That is Landrace with some perlite on her leaf. Let me help you out there, little miss. Oh, there you go. That's no, not Magland. That's BSE crossed with G13. That's what that is. G13 BSE. And it is non-feminized. It's a regular photo. So, might be male, might be female. Hopefully female, because, if it's male, I'm just going to keep the pollen, definitely. But hopefully it's female. Yeah. And then that is my leaned over ESM, Empire Strikes Back. I'm going to back off the water for a couple days and she'll be okay. She'll straighten back up. She was nice and pretty sitting upright, but there's bottom leaves there. As you can see, I have some yellow tips. And when I touched them, they were not brittle, but like not wilting, but on the way towards that direction. I could tell. So, calcium and magnesium, not calcium, but so I gave her a bunch of CalMag, and it seemed to stop it. There was a little bit of intravenous chlorosis on one of the leaves. I think it was that. One of those leaves, I can't remember exactly which one, but it stopped. I haven't seen any more of it. I think it was that leaf. Nice colored leaves, except for the droopiness at the moment. Just going back off on the water for a minute later. Perlite, anything. I also took some perlite earlier and I sprinkled more perlite in it. And what I did was took my finger and drilled some holes in the dirt. And I literally sprinkled perlite in the holes and then covered it up with dirt. You know what I mean? Like literally put like pillars of perlite around it. So, yeah. To help dry it out so it doesn't get too wet and shit down. Because that's my problem a lot. Is the top of the soil is fine, but deep down it's just like fucking thick muck and mud and shit. And I even use like rocks on the bottom and shit. That's the Afghan. So, yeah, I put some perlite pillars, is what I call them. Yes, I just dug my finger down as deep as it would go and then took perlite and pushed into it and covered it up. And put some on the top of it. Did that. Anyway, let them alone. It's time for them to grow this evening. And it's time for me to, I don't know, try to do something constructive so I don't feel like such a lazy piece of shit right now. Waiting to get my car fixed so I can actually go work and do Spark so I can make at least a little bit of money. Yeah, because finding a job right now is a fucking bitch. So gig work it is. Anyway, take it easy, peeps. Later.